Hello everyone, this is Lumen from Lumen's Portal, bringing you and casting another great game, and this will be a Zerg versus Terran CCMCoMM. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly, but I'm pretty certain I did, so excuse you, I'm sorry. But anyway, just down here we have Terran player TyLooInfi, and yes, this is going to be a Zerg versus Terran game. And pretty ground-based, I hope to be seeing something different than the usual Mutalisk and Viking onslaught, but who knows, maybe it will be a mix in this game. And maybe you are now hearing an improvement in my audio quality, and that is because I'm trying to sound too harsh with my pronunciations and trying to talk fairly regular distance away from my mic. So by regular I mean not zooming in and zooming out, but keeping my head in a straightforward position while I commentate my way through this game. So what will we be seeing first? What will the Zerg player be building and showing us? He is having a few drones, so just picking up the pace in his economy. Right down here below, TyLoo and his refinery already, and of course his supplies, but what is he preparing next? Who knows? And just talking a little bit about the map, we are going to have these two players playing in. Obviously we have these two obstructions, rock debris or rubble as we would so call it, and already an expansion from COM. So yes, he is taking the lead in the expansion domain, and his economy will be flowing thoroughly. But as I was saying before, back with the rebel, and I suspect a few Zerglings might be able to make it through here, or a few Marines, sorry, can also make it through there in return. But as you can see, this base may be unsusceptible and could be used as a way to track, or should I say send a signal to the main base compound from these incoming hordes of possible Zerglings. So here we are seeing the first barracks being built near the ramp, so it is going to be a little blockade, I mean, sorry. Okay then, what can we be seeing now at this point of time from Zerg player? It is pretty early, already a genetics pool. Okay, just keeping it very simple paced, and this looks like a little VCS, just checking in on the area. I guess he was unsure of the Zerg's actual emplacement, I'm not very sure. Or maybe he came in to stop the very early expansion, to no avail of course. This expansion nearly seeing the light of day. This expansion nearly under full completion. So already here, a factory. He is building a factory next to his barracks. That is pretty interesting. Not something you see every day, but it is a pretty big gap to fill in, so it is obviously a good reason. Maybe in the future he will even have a few, of course, a few tanks, a few missiles surrounding the area from possibly any tormentors if the game insists, if they make it that long in game. Oh, and you have seen here the barracks and the factory have traded places, just so the factory could be sitting on a reactor, just so he can be building double units. What is the point of that? I mean, he should be instead focusing on double tech labs or double factories. Anyway, maybe a few Marines should be coming in by now, and that is a station port already this early in game. So we are seeing a combination of one barracks, factory, and individual station port from Terran player. That is just bizarre. But So he is planning on a Hellion onslaught, but does he have any Zergs? Does he have any Zergs? Yes, he has a few Zergs on the way here, and also in his other base, so they may put up a proper fight against these incoming Hellions. Who knows? So just taking this detour, this very small detour, as you know, what's the point of this if you can, instead of breaking in there and taking 10 minutes of your time, just take that 1 second to 5 second detour, with these Hellions just making it really quickly to the base. This Zerg player come really alert and just advancing our two brutal queens, but very slowly, as they are not on mucus. They'll have to be expanding that mucus up a little bit, but you can see a few tumors, so soon that will be expanding to up to here. A big advantage on ground for Zerg player Com. Hellions advancing, now 3 of them feeling ever more confident, and these Zerglings don't want to take any casualties. Oh, do they? Oh, kind of feeling suicidal, those Zerglings, because you know the Hellions have the maximum impact on Zerglings, and now these Tormentors backing away from these Zerglings, already putting up a good fight and taking down one Hellion, and the Queen probably also scaring away those Hellions. But now you can see heavily outnumbered. The Hellions are, that is the 3rd Hellion going down, and the last remaining Hellion trying to put up a good fight, and does indeed take out a good amount of Zerglings. So adding more Zerglings here, yes, this is going to be a good defense against those any more future Hellions, but I think that TyLoo has learned his lesson, and he won't be building any more Hellions from now on. So he's keeping a lookout on Com. So Com is currently expanding as much as possible, picking up on the resources and winning in the macro game. Anyway, so still a few Zerglings there, and is he having another Hellion and a Viking? So possibly a good little army of Vikings. Hopefully, here is one Viking already and taking off on that Overlord. So that poor Overlord is going to be losing its life to this miserable Viking. Oh, that poor Overlord. So goodbye. And he has a good amount of Overlords, so he won't be lacking too much in supplies. And this Viking could easily just take on all those Overlords, but you can see that is a lot of queens. That is 1, 2, 3 queens for only, I mean, it's a good amount. It's not that much, but it is a minimum to take on that Viking, as it doesn't have any other projectile-based units at the present time. But we could be seeing some very soon. And here, already 2 more extra extractors being made. As you can see, these 2 extractors really being fully taken for granted, and really digging in those provisions. I mean, in those supplies, or should I say gas. So that is a few more drones to the huge amount of drones already present. And yes, I have no idea what just happened here. All those drones just took themselves into one big group. I mean, now seeing 1, 2, 3 queens, not too much defense. Oh, is that 4 queens? I am not entirely sure. But that is already a good expansion of mucus. As you can see, all that mucus will provide a good and quick land-based, a good and quick land-based area for the Zerg player. And going all the way up to here, if possible, ever planning an assault and sneaking in from passes. Already expansion here from TyLoo, so already an expansion now. just underway will probably be a third hatchery, I guess, right after. I'm just guessing, but already picking up 2 refineries, building 2 refineries, and cultivating as fast as possible 1 bunker here. That is not too much of a defense, and having a few tanks with siege tank research. So okay, these are a few Zerglings now underway, and possibly wondering if he has any upgrades researched. I don't think so. It does not look like it. And these Zerglings are going to go in and take on that bunker. That bunker is trying to its best of its ability to take it on. But the tank is also now being surrounded, taking on damage. Split it up are the Zerglings taking on the tank, and now in a full-on slaughter, taking on that bunker. That bunker is going to go down. That VCF to no advantage, repairing that bunker and going down as well. So now 4 Vikings and finishing off those Zerglings, and now going on ground. A very good advantage with Vikings is to go on ground and then go back in air as they will. But that is probably one of the Zerg's worst enemies. Vikings can just go up in the air and get back on ground whenever they want, and they are obviously the earliest type of unit capable of being such a nuisance to Zerglings. But anyway, that is kind of ironic, isn't it? I mean, a nuisance, as in Vikings a nuisance, against those pesky little Zerglings. Anyway, you get my drift, and a few those are a few Mutalisks, sorry, a few Mutalisks, and they will be taking on, whoa, those Vikings here. Vikings putting up a good defense, and he is going to be winning, who is going to be taking on the other one on. Looks like probably a few more Vikings will be in to save the day, but these Mutalisks are really taking a lot of damage. There are 3 Vikings left, and the 3 remaining Mutalisks trying to back away as fast as possible. Of course, they have a speed advantage, so no point of chasing them away. So okay then, what now? A supplies here, possibly also thinking of barricading this. I mean, no, sorry, that there's already this rubble blocking any possible units from coming in there, into there. So yes, already you can see he is planning an assault of mainly Vikings. Com, as his name so interprets. Okay, here a hatchery. What a bizarre spot to be building a hatchery. Can anyone make out any sense of this? Why build a hatchery there? It's not as if the hatchery can just crawl its roots out and then just place itself somewhere else. But anyway, wow, you can see this. A third hatchery, that is a second expansion from Com down here, all the way down here. So that is very unsusceptible to the Terran player's eyes. But yes, as I was mentioning before, what is the point of that? I'm not really seeing anything, but it looks like he has his he is tracing a few drones over here to cultivate on those rich mineral fields, really giving an advantage on his economy. And if we were to be checking each other's revenue, we would be seeing not much of a difference, as they are both paced equally. So they are equal on the V-spin gases and on the minerals at the present time. And checking on in the APM, taking the lead in the APM is Terran player TyLoo, a tiny bit that is, but then being quickly overtaken by Com. Okay, so this is a fairly likely to be a similar paced game, but already you can see an advantage with his production rate for Com. So if I were to refrain myself from talking too much, I would just be looking around a little bit and talking about what's really important here. Well, evolution chambers, two evolution chambers, and researching really fast here, 2 double researches upgrades going on the way for his Zerglings, so expecting some Zerglings and even Banelings, yes, Banelings indeed. So these Banelings are going to be ferocious once they are fully deployed, and expecting a mass amount of Banelings as this is reaching a far point in game. So a Mutalisk here, that's a warning. Are there any more? Basically a lot of Zerglings also to be built in, created into Banelings. And you can see here a good defense being put up by TyLoo. Sorry, I have to remember that name. It's kind of a little Thai-ish, a little unorthodox. I mean, it's not the type of words I am used to pronouncing, so I'll have to just keep that in mind. And yes, a good defense, as I said before. But by now he should already be thinking of going in. And yes, 2 Banshees here, but they are not going in for or are they going in for an upgrade? No camo upgrade for those Banshees, so no direct threat to the Zerg economy. Anyway, you can see these Vikings could already be taking on these these Vitalisks, sorry. But they are pretty tormentous, you have to agree. And yes, oh, that's a good amount of Zerglings, I do believe. But yes, that is 4 hatcheries, or should I say 5 hatcheries, as this bizarre emplacement is situated right over here. I mean, he could have one here, but that is the Terran player. TyLoo is going to have his command center over here. That's only his 3rd command center. But it looks like Terran player is being overtaken quickly in the consumption rate. But oh, he is in fact consuming a lot of his resources and building in as much Marines. Is there any research to be conducted for these Marines? I'm not seeing an engineering bay here, so I don't believe so. But yes, an engineering bay here. Oh, he does indeed have an upgrade for his attack, his ground-based force attack. But these Zerglings have an advantage. Don't forget, once they do turn into Banelings, this massive amount will possibly be inflicting them such a big amount of damage, possibly unstoppable, with the help of the Tormentors of with the help of the Mutalisks, of course. I'm sorry, I just have to keep that in mind, the Mutalisks and not the Tormentors. But anyway, you could call them tormentous, as I said before. They are fast, they are vile and almighty, that's for sure. And such an amazing cinematic here. Just love seeing those Mutalisks flowing about, really. They just look like giant bats with basically what looks to be a sting in their lower region, but like a double sting, so they're like more vicious and than any Zerglings, and more, how do you say, they have double the sting of a bee, so they are more voluptuous and more deadly and pretty much more menacing than the average bee, as they have double Joe-fanged, what did I call it, Joe-fanged? I mean, they're obviously situated in the lower region, their little stings. So anyway, you can see it has Terran player has signaled just to check in on the base, and he's preparing an assault. Is he sure of this? Oh, he's going to get rid of those tumors as they are progressing all the way to his base, and that will be an enormous advantage for the banelings. So I'm expecting the banelings to be deployed very, very soon, as this player Com is having such an advantage right now, and if he makes it in time, he'll be able to quickly go in and with his banelings and have a maximum amount of speed. And now you can see this is going to be the final fight as all these banelings and zerglings massing up in the ranks, and I mean massing up in the masses. So yeah, it's just restating the same. So okay, then they are just patienting a little bit. That is an infestor I'm seeing there. One infestor or more. That's another infestor. So they will be infecting the marines as well. So vicious this Zerg player is. So Com is yes, he has indeed now planning to go in very soon, no doubts about that. Trying to make as much banelings as possible, and a few infestors now. Is he finished with building, creating his units, or is he still going to replenish a little bit? But I think at this point of time in game he should be going in. This little defense here isn't too much of a blast. Oh, and these Vikings coming in and attacking the resources, and now taking on the Mutalisks, and the Mutalisks putting up a good fight, as well as the infestors infecting these four Vikings going down and being completely outnumbered now, and really looking sickly, and this whole army so easily disintegrated by Zerg player Com. Oh, that poor army of Vikings, I mean, it just spelled out its fate with the use of these infestors, and of course these powerful dominant Mutalisks. So is this little defense going to be enough? As you can see, not too much. What are these marines doing here? They are now quickly being chased up by these Zerglings, and oh, these Tormentors also putting up a good fight, and coming in from behind are the banelings, but without the use of their mucus they will be slowed down a fair little bit, but now surrounding the tanks, blowing into submission, but only in groups, showing such a good use of the banelings, such an excellent hotkeying player, as you can see, and just piling up in a group. And here is Com with his final little advert to promote his site, Starcraft2.com.cn, and that is a good game from TyLooInfi. And thanks for watching. This was Lumen from Lumen's Portal Broadcasting, and goodbye.